Let's get back to our breaking news. A mother of two young boys missing in Utah, and investigators are now treating the case as a criminal investigation. Susan Powell was last seen at her home in West Valley City. She left her purse, her cell phone, totally out of character for her. So police are now saying they suspect foul play may be involved here. Her husband, Josh Powell, told police he went on a camping trip with his two boys. Their ages 2 and 4. They took off in sub-freezing weather at 12:30. It's midnight. Police say he has not been cooperative, and they just took a DNA sample from him. Now, he's not a suspect, but we wonder, why is he not being more helpful? We always take your phone calls. 1-877-TEL-HLN's the number. Joining us to talk about it, investigative journalist Michelle Sagona. Get more at michellesagona.com. Also back with us, Elizabeth Kelly, defense attorney. Steve Rogers back with us as well, Detective Lieutenant, Nutley, New Jersey Police Department. Steve, I'll start with you. You hear that suspect foul play, criminal investigation. What has changed in your mind?
Well, I believe a significant factor is his lack of cooperation when the police are questioning him. Mike, the police are now going to attempt to establish a motive if he is in fact involved in this, what now looks like a crime.
Okay. Let's go to the phones. You guys always have great questions, comments, theories here. Robin's with us right there in Utah. Robin, your thoughts?
Well, I just wanted to comment to say about how severely bad the weather was that night, because I went out about 10 o'clock and the roads were treacherous. And I just wanted to know how involved with childbearing he has been on a day-to-day level, because I took my child camping at 2 years old, and it took me a week to get ready. And I just felt like it seemed really strange that he would do that.
Yeah, no, a lot of us have. Robin, excuse me, thanks for the call. Michelle, let's talk about that, because this camping trip is generating, obviously, a lot of questions, not only from our viewers, but I'm sure from investigators as well. What's his story? Did we pretty much lay out the basics? He's going to take off with a 2- and 4-year-old at 12:30 at night?
That appears to be the case. This is what Assistant Police Chief Black had told me earlier today, and also on Monday, that Josh claims that what he told investigators, that he last saw his wife at 12:30 on December the 7th, on that Monday morning, and she was going to bed. So she goes to bed. He then takes his 2-year-old and his 4-year-old and allegedly goes out to a campsite that investigators cannot find as of right now. There's been lots of snowstorms between the 7th and this particular time period, and so they cannot verify his alibi. At that point, Josh comes back later on that evening / afternoon and comes forward and says, yeah, I guess my wife is missing, but he's not coming forward with any extra information to investigators at this time. Investigators do believe that there's enough circumstantial evidence to indicate that Susan did not walk away on her own.
Okay, let's, Leslie, do we have the sound clip from Josh Powell talking with reporters about the camping trip? It's a back and forth with the reporter. He seems upset, but when she asks about the camping trip, he's very evasive. Let's listen to that.
Any help to try to find her would be appreciated. So really, that's all. We just, she's somewhere.
I know there was quite a huge effort out in the West Desert looking for any sign of her. Is that where you were camping?
Yeah, I just have to go get my boys.
There's the specific question about the camping trip, and then he ducks it completely and says he has to go get his boys. Steve Rogers, I'm sure investigators took note of that.
Took note of not only his language and his speaking to the reporter, but in that body language, he was leaning towards that house. It appeared he wanted to get away from that reporter.
Okay. We don't want to jump too far ahead on this, but let me bring Elizabeth Kelly in. And then, Elizabeth, a lot of our viewers have the very base question of, if you're just trying to find your wife, why do you need a lawyer?
Well, the fact of the matter is, in the 21st century, virtually everyone, innocent or guilty, gets a lawyer. And law enforcement knows that this is something to be expected, and it's not indicative of guilt or innocent. But simply ducking a reporter's question is not alone evidence of criminal activity. What's problematic here is we know that statistically the majority of abductions are perpetrated by family members. And if this particular gentleman wants to take the spotlight off of him, which I think he does, he'll take a polygraph Hopefully the polygraph results will be positive, and then law enforcement and investigators can move on and find this missing woman. He has, up until this point, cooperated with law enforcement. He has spoken with them, and he only canceled one interview, and that was because he had only recently retained his attorney, and his attorney wanted adequate time to prepare.
Okay, we'll hit on that, what law enforcement's saying. And let me just say this, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers will agree. I don't think everybody is lawyering up if a loved one goes missing. You want to cooperate and say everything you can. And I don't know. To me, on a personal note, somebody lawyers up, they've got something to hide. But no offense to you or any other attorney out there, love having you on the show. But I think that's what I'm seeing. What about you? You, the viewer out there, call in. What do you think? 1-877-TEL-HLN.
Hold on. Tis the Chevy Red Tag event.
Now's the time to get a Chevy.
And nobody has